Alright, so I think I have this set up properly, and I should be able to pause the video and unpause in case any customers come in. Okay, so as far as my favorites or whatever, when it comes to mods, like I said, they're a dime a dozen. There's not much that sets one apart from another as far as I'm concerned. That's there's as long as it fucking works. It used to be that if it wasn't DNA, I didn't want anything to do with it, but the truth is that a lot of chipsets that are out now are really fucking good when you're only operating between 10 and 20 watts anyway. So most mods are going to have way more wattage than you need. They're going to have way more features than you need, but that's what the market wants. So that's what you get. You end up with a lot of unused shit. However, the good side to this is that mods have become cheaper than dirt. When you see a mod that's super cheap, the way that they cut corners is by cutting safety. Normally that'd be kind of a problem, I guess, for me, but I'm not operating at high wattages. I'm not pulling a lot of amps, so I don't really give a fuck about safety. And I haven't had anything blow up yet. So the Lost Vape ePetite DNA 60 is this little guy right here. As you can see, as far as like hand size, it's about 3 fingers or so. Not very large. Really pocket friendly. Not a whole lot to it. It is a DNA 60 device, so you've got that like screen that you're used to and everything, and it works super well. It puts whatever's on it, it makes it work. That's all I really care about when it comes to mods. This is a 1.24 ohm resistance. I'm vaping it at 13 watts. Now, the tank, this is the Aries MTL RTA. As far as tanks go, it's my favorite that's ever been made. Like I said, it's got really good airflow. You can see there's like the slot there. You can have up to, I don't know, there's I think 4 air holes, and there you can see like the different sizes of them. And then instead of like, if you don't want to do a combo, if you only want to have one open, there is just a single dot for airflow, so you can spin that around and have just the single dot. What I've found as far as like the resistance of the drag goes, 2 holes. The 2 smaller holes is perfect for me. That's where I vape them all at. Now then, the Revenger. You ready for the walkie-talkie? Come in. This is my Revenger, and I fucking adore this mod. So, side fire button's right there. Little screen is actually kind of hidden behind the I don't know, glass, whatever it is. The difference between the Revenger and then the newer model, which is the Revenger X, is this one actually has physical buttons on the front, and the Revenger X has like a touchscreen right there. I can't say that the Revenger X is like bad. I had one guy bought one and then came in like a week later and his buttons weren't working, which for me, I'm still not a big fan of touchscreens. I still prefer physical buttons. So if you can find the original Revenger, you're in good shape. If you can find the Revenger X and it's got a good price on it, take a chance. So on the back, you just have like a magnetic cover, dual 18650, and you can see based on the size of the batteries how big the overall size of this mod is. It's small for being a dual 18650. It's got the hand size of something like a single 18650. So I'm really stoked on the size and the feel, the weight, everything of this mod. Now this giant walkie-talkie antenna that's sitting on top is actually mostly drip tip. This is the Zen Ionizer drip tip, and I like this one because I have a temp control build in here, and I like a cool vape, and I was finding that as far as throat hit amount of vapor went, where I have it right now is perfect, but it was coming out a little bit warm, and so I had originally the regular Ionizer drip tip, which only came up to about here, but I broke that one, and this was the only other one that I had, so I put the long one on there, and I don't know, fuck the haters, I don't really give a shit. To drip, the top cap actually will come off you can see actually like this right here, that's plastic, that's part of the drip tip. The very next section, that's metal, and that's part of the top cap of this. So you can actually see how well that one lines up and fits the top cap. So it's like, yeah, I kind of have to use that drip tip. So this is the size of the, I hate, my camera's right in the center, so I keep going to show things, but then my fucking hand is in the way and I can't see. So that's why I'm having trouble. This is the size of the dripper itself, but wait, no it's not. The dripper itself is just that little guy. And it does come with a top cap with a drip tip that you can actually screw in, and then it's got the top cap that you can use whichever drip tip you want. But that is the actual size of the dripper. You can actually see the airflow, the air holes on the side there. So I have it set on the largest air hole right now, but when you watch the video for this one, you'll actually be able to see there are little air inserts that when, hang on, I'm screwing it back onto the mod so I can take the outer case off. This is the inside of the dripper, and that kind of gray, well, it's actually more of like a taupe color piece. That's an air insert. So you can see the size of the air hole on the insert is the same size as the largest hole in the cap. And there's, I think, like 5 different inserts. And I like this one. It's got the airflow hole on the side there, and then actually the part that hits the coil on the inside is a single slot. So the different air inserts have, like, one has like a single hole, double hole, 3 hole, an air slot. There's just all sorts of configuration for how you want, how much air you want coming in from the hole in the cap, and then how the air is going to hit your coil. For me, the slot works the best. I've got a stainless steel temp control build in here. I'm vaping it, well, it's set for 410, but I typically vape at 400 watts, 400 watts, nice. 400 degrees Fahrenheit, vaping at 20 watts. So with a 20 watt build, 400 degrees, I use this thing a hell of a lot during the day, and I'm getting probably about 5 or 6 days before I have to recharge my batteries. So it's the shit. Go ahead and put the cap back on, line it up with my air hole, and then, oh, of course now it's not going to unscrew because it's sliding around. And I dropped it. Get a little paper towel here and unscrew this. And there it is. What I was showing you earlier is it comes with these sort of beauty rings, basically. So it's just like a little beveled kind of pot. It's hollow, it's just got the one retainer ring in the bottom there. And what you do is, when you've got your dripper fully assembled, you take the dripper and the pot, and this will give it a different base diameter. So this one I think is the 24 millimeter, and then it also comes with a 22 millimeter. But you just drop the dripper right into that little pot, and then that screws into your mod. Let me adjust my air, make sure that's just right. And then from there, on goes your drip tip. Oh, it's asking me if it's a new load, old load. Bitch, vape. Good amount of vapor, nice cool vape, and no burning, which for a dripper, that's what I was going to tell you. You know, when I mentioned squonking and how there had to be a few caveats before I would really consider it. If I'm going to use a squonk box, number one, I want good temp control. If I want good temp control, I need to have a regulated device. And I want it to have a good dripping atomizer, not leaking constantly, because if you're dripping and it leaks, no big deal, you're only putting in a few drops at a time, clean it up, whatever. But if you're squonking, you're going through like 6, 8, 10 mils at a time, and if it's leaking the whole fucking time, that's just going to annoy the piss out of me. So with this dripper, that is the one. That is the only dripper you need. Works fantastic. Great easy build for it. Even has like a specialized tool that comes with it, which you'll see if you watch like Phil's video on this thing, as far as like how to set your coils in properly. They thought of everything. So I've got the dripper that I want now, that I would actually use, you know, for 8-10 mils or whatever on a squonker. Temp control. With this build in particular, stainless steel 28 gauge, I think I did like an 8 wrap on here or something like that. Resistance comes out to 0.48 ohms. So I've got the right build, and I know it works really well in temp control because the Revenger is doing temp control and it works really well. So now I've got the build I want, I've got the temp control I want. Now I need a dripper, or I'm sorry, a mod, a squonker that has good temp control on it, and well, I'll show you. Okay, so this is the Vandy Vape Pulse. Now there's 2 versions of it. One comes with a dripper and it is unregulated, just a dummy box. This is the one that comes with, it's just the mod itself, but it is regulated. So very, very cool looking. They have all sorts of different color panels or whatever. The whole thing is plastic. It weighs nothing at all. And as you can see, it is actually a regulated box. Now, the reason I like this one so much is because A, it's really light. Vandy Vape is a company that I've come to really like. They're the ones who make this dripper. So I really like their products. When you take off, whoops, when you take off this little guy, there you got your 8 ml squonk bottle. You see your battery case here, and it does come with this little rubber adapter thing. So that's so you can use an 18650 or a, I think, 2100. 2100. So you can use a couple of different size batteries. And the cool thing about this is, if you notice right there on the box, oh, it's printed backwards because of the camera, but anyways, BF bottom feeding 80 watt box mod. 80 watts. It only goes to 80 watts. And people are like, oh, it's not enough, it's not going to blow big clouds. Shut the fuck up, stupid. If you're running in temperature control, you don't need much wattage. So anyway, vaping at only 20 watts, an 80 watt box is more than powerful enough. You'll notice in the top there, it's got your little squonking setup. And the cool thing about almost every modern dripping atomizer that comes out nowadays, they all come with squonk pins. Right now, I'm using my regular 510 pin. It's a really simple swap. My bag of accessories is at home because I'm not currently squonking, but it's a really simple little swap out for the 510 pin. Go from regular 510 to a squonk pin, so I can have my Vandy Vape dripper sitting on a Vandy Vape box running regulated temperature control, and it's going to be really good. The only reason I haven't bought one of these yet is because they haven't told me if I'm getting a discount or not. If I'm not getting a discount, I'm going to buy it online because it'll be cheaper than buying it in the store. But anyways, couple of different battery options, really nice crystal clear display, lightweight as shit, holds a good amount of juice, and it pairs perfectly with this dripper for the perfect temperature controlled mouth to lung squonk experience. So if you're going to consider squonking, Vandy Vape Pulse is right up there at the very top of my list. The other one, a little bit more pricey option, but if you're really hung on DNA, the H Cigar Inbox VT75. That is Victor Tango. That is a 75 watt DNA squonker. So you know DNA, good stuff. By H Cigar, pretty good company, pretty good products that are out there, nothing outstanding. But when H Cigar pairs with Evolve for their chipset, you got to think it's a pretty reliable product. So that's a nice little squonk mod as well. I don't have one here to show you, but that was one that I considered for the longest time until the little Pulse came out, and then I was like, okay, so the Pulse is badass. Remember, if you do decide you want to try squonking and you want to go after the Vandy Vape Pulse, Be very careful when you're purchasing. Make sure you are buying the Pulse bottom feeding 80 watt. Make sure it says somewhere on there that it's an 80 watt box mod, because like I said, the boxes look almost identical and they're both called the Vandy Vape Pulse. Okay, one is unregulated, comes with a dripper. One is regulated, does not come with a dripper. So anyway, that's it for my little tour of drippers and rebuildable atomizers and a couple of mods. There's more stuff to see, like little kits and boxes and tanks and whatnot. And if you ever do decide that you do want a direct lung tank for whatever reason, let me know, because I do know of a few really good ones, really cool ones. Armor. Let me show you that one real quick. This one comes with a tank, and it's not something that I think either of us would be particularly interested as far as the tank goes, but the mod. The mod is really cool. So this is the Armor Pro from Vaporesso, which I love Vaporesso. It's, like I said, the tank, whoop-de-doo. Don't really care about the tank. But the mod. I love this little mod because it is, again, it comes with a little, let me stand in front of that light. It comes with a little 18650 sleeve, or you can use a 2700 or a 21700. And for a single battery, it is tiny, and you can put a 21700 in there, have battery life all day. It is, of course, regulated. A little tough to see, but there's your buttons. And then this whole thing here is the fire button, so it's one of the, like, kind of grip it to fire it. But anyway, I just thought that was a cool little mod, and this one just hit the market, so it should be really easy to find. They're not very expensive. The tank you'll probably chuck if you can find the mod standalone without a tank. Awesome. But this one definitely does temperature control, and I don't know, man, just a cool little mod. I like small-ish mods that can still pack a wallop as far as battery power goes. And when you've got a mod that can, you can put a 21700 in, or 21 whatever. Have I been saying 2100 this whole time? 2100 or 21700 or a 2700. Anyway, I'm tripping all over my shit because that's how I roll. Anyway, I hope this helps. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know. All right? Peace.